Debate on Vote 8, Human Settlements, Western Cape Adjustments, Appropriation Bill.
I see the Minister of Human Settlements.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Madam Premier, Cabinet colleagues, members of the House, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first also say to all the 7 million people in South Africa who are living with HIV and AIDS that indeed is not a death sentence. If you live healthy and responsibly, you can certainly live a very long life. Let me also take this opportunity, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and congratulate the Department of Human Settlements for being awarded as the best department in the country in Governing Biggie Awards that were held last month, and also for winning the award for the best social housing. I want to perhaps pause here and thank the team under the leadership of HOD Mguli and all the Human Settlements family for the sterling work that they are doing under a lot of pressure. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the adjustment budget for 2017 for human settlements is an increase from 2.543 billion rands to 2.593 billion rands, which is an increase of just under 50 million rands. This amount will be divided as follows. It will be given to a number of municipalities that are struggling because they are not getting enough MIG funding. But I do want to also say, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that part of this budget will also deal with the drought challenges that we are facing. Because drought is not unique to Western Cape or Cape Town. We do know that about 130 megacities globally were affected by it in the last 7 years due to climate change. And my department will be spending 6.5 million rands this year for water-saving measures on projects, including rainwater harvesting, boreholes, well points, and consumer education. And further 100 million rands will be rolled out over the MTF period because we understand the importance of planning now for this particular challenge. Deputy Speaker, many municipalities are faced with the challenge of bulk infrastructure, as I said, because municipal infrastructure grant or MIG is not enough. We will also be assisting elderly people in a number of areas like Beaufort West, Mossel Bay, and Guguletu to reconstruct their toilets, because many of these people are very old and they live in houses where toilets were built very far from their houses. So what we'll be doing then, we have put 4 million aside to reconstruct these toilets inside their houses. We will also be funding electrification in some of our projects like Forest Village, Breda Valley, Bella, and Cedarbeck due to funding shortfall by Department of Energy. 43.231 million of own revenue from 2016-17 was put aside to assist the following areas and municipalities. It's going to be George, it's going to be Cedarbeck, Mossel Bay, Beaufort West. As I said, we'll be assisting them there with bulk and outside toilets. It's going to be Wetzenberg, Drakenstein, Breda Valley, Overstrand, Swellendam, Matsikama, Langerbeck, and Guguletu, as I said. This adjustment budget also corrects an allocation of 22.3 million to the Housing Development Agency, appropriated as transfer payments to goods and services. Minor shifts have been done amongst programs to ensure that staff is paid under the correct program, Mr. Deputy Speaker. An additional 12 million was allocated towards municipal services or rates as part of a project in conjunction with Provincial Treasury, National Treasury, and municipality to pay all outstanding government debt. As we have heard, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that many municipalities are owed billions by a number of government departments And I think we are playing our part in making sure that we pay our debt as this department. 9.653 million was allocated to write off irrecoverable debt of Ibuyile that was overpaid by Tubelisha Homes, who is now in liquidation. This was recommended by the state attorney as the company was also liquidated 4 years ago. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'd like to table the human settlement budget for 2017. I thank you.
Honourable, thank you, Minister. Honourable Maseko.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, as a responsible DA-led Western Cape government, we are fully aware of our responsibility to fulfill our constitutional housing mandate in this province. This is one of the reasons why the Western Cape Department of Human Settlements is aiming to provide settlement that offers good basic and socio-economic services, that offers a range of rental and ownership options that respond to the varied needs and incomes of households, while also consistently improving settlement through joint citizen and government efforts, which is supported by the private sector contributions. To achieve this might seem daunting, but it's not impossible. I say not impossible with the greatest pride, as the Western Cape Department of Human Settlements have over the last 3 years exceeded their housing delivery targets. As a reminder to this House, these are the facts. During the 2014-15 financial year, our aim was to deliver 10,357 houses. We delivered 10,746. During the 2015-16 financial year, our aim was to deliver 10,840 houses. We delivered 11,640. The 2016-17 financial year, our aim was to deliver 11,134. We delivered 11,283. Let me therefore welcome the adjustment made to the department's 2017-18 budget, which has increased from 2,543,587 to 2,593,318. This amounts to an adjustment of 49,731,000. This equates to 18,000 housing opportunities during the current financial year. Deputy Speaker, we have been consistent in giving deserving and qualifying residents an opportunity to improve their lives. I must, however, say that it's a pity that our budget in the Western Cape is so limited, as I believe that we would be able to achieve a lot more. Unfortunately, this is something that is not in our control. We will, however, not cease in ensuring that residents have access to livable, accessible, safe, resilient, and multi-opportunity settlements. Just to give the House a few examples of what we mean, we have the Gavin Begi award-winning Belha social housing project. We have the impeccable Bellevue and the Vines Fleece projects in Yesterefir, and not to forget that we were the first province, which of course is DA-led, to provide houses to military veterans. As the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Human Settlements, Deputy Speaker, my committee and I have to ensure that the department under Minister Bonginkosi Madikizela is fulfilling their constitutional mandate. We have to ensure that as the department set their targets, they are achieved. We have to ensure that the department's functions and operates within the fiscal framework, and among others, that there is no wasteful expenditures. Given our current drought, we have to ensure that the department is also contributing to water-saving efforts, especially where construction is underway. It does therefore please me to know that all projects under the department is using grey water for building. Beyond this, I have to commend Minister Madikizela, as his departments are allocated 6,500,000 for additional water-saving measures, which is largely related to rainwater tanks, gutters, and downpipes as part of housing projects. Deputy Speaker, it's a known fact that the DA-led Western Cape government is financially sound. That means it manages money well. In addition to this, we are fully aware that the Department of Human Settlements is exceeding its targets. And they have consistently done so over the last 3 years. In fact, at the recent held National Government Beki Awards, the Western Cape Department under Minister Madikizela received the award as the best performing department. Let me repeat that. The Western Cape Department of Human Settlements is the best in this country. Yeah. The reality is I'll repeat again, the Western Cape Department of Human Settlement is the best in this country. The reality is that our world is changing. There are huge uncertainties with climate change, resulting in high temperatures and reduced rainfall, along with fiscal constraints and social inequalities. This is why we need to adopt innovative strategies to address these issues in our service delivery. I'm therefore especially pleased to know that the department is currently actively working on making better choices through what is termed green procurement, a procurement process that is in its entirety takes the environment, its impact on the construction sector, and the sector's impact on the environment into account to ensure that neither has a negative effect on the other. Among the many principles are reducing water and energy consumption, minimizing waste generation, and providing high-quality living environments, services, and houses. Deputy Speaker, it is going to take a collective effort to combat our current water crisis, and the fact that the department is already contributing to water-saving initiatives and seeking to improve in this space tells us that the DA-led government is not idling in this matter, but is being proactive in addressing this issue. Allow me to thank the Standing Committee for being committed in fulfilling their oversight role. One thing that I've learned in this portfolio is that we are a family, and I'd like to once again express my sincere condolences to the department for their loss in 2015 of Kelly Theanis, and also earlier this year, the loss of Tuli Matia. May their soul rest in peace. I want to say to them that we will ensure that the department carries on where they left off. Deputy Speaker, as a committee, we appreciate the robust engagement with the department as well as their transparency. I'd like to therefore express my sincere gratitude to Minister Madikizela, the HOD, Mr. Mguli, and the entire department for their unwavering commitment to the communities of the province. I wish the entire department and the committee a blessed, joyous festive season and a prosperous year. In conclusion, the DA in the Western Cape will continue to forge ahead and is committed to fulfilling its mission of creating integrated, sustainable communities which every single resident can be proud of and enjoy. Once again, as a DA, we support the Western Cape Adjustment Appropriation Bill, Vote 8 of Human Settlements. I thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Member. The Honourable Davids.
Thank you, Speaker. I was in the Standing Committee meeting. I did ask questions, didn't get the right answers, so I'm here today. Yes. Honourable Speaker, members of this House, Honourable Premier, I think this is our last day for the year, so I can take a grandstand. I'm not going to be nice. I want to start off with Honourable Maseko. You know, I think we went to Wits, we went to Rwanda, Honourable Maseko. We got a lot of information how to do our oversight, but I don't think one of the Standing Committee chairs of the DA have done oversight over these 2 days. Not one of you. Because oversight is to be critical, but also to say when there is good. All of you have done only what is good. You didn't have any critics. And if you have critics, the MECs will then know how to do.
Order, Member. Just 1 second. Honourable Chief Whip.
I'm not sure that this has got anything to do with human settlements.
Yes. Order. I'm listening carefully. I'm not sure what she's referring to, but if it relates to the vote in the blue book, it's fine. I will listen carefully. The member may continue.
Because, Deputy Speaker, for me, it's about what the department do good and where the department goes wrong. Because my critic must then help them to do right. The adjustment appropriate does not have any close challenges, shortage of housing does not speak to the shortage of housing in the province. We know, MSC, that houses were built up during 1970 and 1990. There was no houses built in South Africa. We know that. So that alone brings you a big shortage. But many communities, such as Imowetu, Temboletu, Khayelitsha, Blikkiesdorp, and elsewhere, are becoming permanent residents there. Informal settlements like Kanana, Barcelona, Europa Americana, Neefilippe, and many others in the rural areas like Witzenberg, Drakensberg, Langeberg, and all of them, that is already 30 years, like the Chester Williams camp in Drakensberg is 30 years old. Chester Williams is 30 years old, the camp. And we didn't know Chester Williams when he became popular. We know him when he was a rugby player in primary school already. So just keep quiet there. And population communities with no proper road infrastructure, poor streets, lighting, and substandard sanitation, and no toilet services. You get into an informal settlement member, you will get people that use the toilet outside because there's no toilets. You will get people that drink dirty water because there's no water. So if we are speaking about those communities, we must be clear. If we say in our Human Settlement Department, we have a budget for informal settlements to upgrade it. How long are those people going to wait for their upgrading? The mere 6.5 million allocation towards housing development is ring fencing for additional water saving measures, not additional houses as the overwhelming needs require. Because if you do your IDP, you get the need, you budget according to your need. The need out there is not water now, the need out there is housing. Because if you go into the, yes, the need out, go to the rural areas, you will see the people in the informal settlements and in houses are messing their water. Go and do what you must do. Go and do educational over water. Go do educational over water. Go and look for your leaks because there's a lot of leaks. Go to the municipalities. You will hear that what is the measurement of their leaks in the municipality on water. In the meanwhile, there's an expenditure decrease of 132 million or 14.8% due to certain social institutional projects not implemented. Even transfers and subsidies funded by human settlements. Development grants recorded under expenditure of 153 million for similar excuses. We were not surprised to learn that Premier Yalan Zille blames the poor for the housing crisis. However, we are relieved by an article from Daily Maverick on the 10th of March 2017, which placed her in her place.
Order, member, just 1 second. Honourable Minister.
Is the honourable member prepared to take a question?
Member Davis, are you prepared to take a question?
And now,
Member Davis, can I just say from the chair side, it's difficult for the chair to at all times know whether you're in fact referring to figures in the adjustment estimate. So if I stop you, then I want clarity on which specific vote or environment you are referring to, because it appears to me that you're making a general speech now on housing. But if you can relate it to the Blue Book, then it's fine.
okay, the first.
That's one I could follow. I could follow that clearly, but the rest is more difficult.
I will give the pages.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We were not surprised to learn that the Premier Yalan Zille blames the poor for the housing crisis. However, we are relieved by an article from Daily Maverick on 10 March 2017, which placed her in a place. She was educated and asked to desist from referring to landless people occupying vacant land as invaders. This goes to the heart of the DA administration and its failure to proactively address the shortage of housing in the province. Residents who have been staying in the suburbs like Woodstock, Salt River, Boerkaap, and others for many decades are facing evictions daily, and this government is unable to protect them from the private developers and the associates. This led to the formation like Reclaim the City, to spearhead a major campaign focused to use and disposal of prime public land in and around the inner city for affordable housing, including social housing. The rural farm dwellers are not spared from these abject living conditions and are often evicted by farm owners and thrown along the road. It happened yesterday again. Municipalities and provincial government ignore their plight in many instances that were raised throughout the year in this chamber, but when the opportunity arose, this department elects to bypass them. Grown up sums is properly and say, from a farm worker, the 1917 extension of security of tenure ex esta has not secured them from total rights, as they are not the owner of the property and still at the mercy of the farmer. The quality of the housing is not determined by them, and this feeds into the patriarchal systems on farm. Their adult children have to obtain to leave home as there are no alternatives. And that is happening, Premier, daily in the rural areas. There are a lot of unfinished housing projects throughout the province. This department is always found wanting with no tangible response when confronted with this unfortunate housing crisis in the different municipalities. I just want to say thank you for the department for the money that they are going to give to the municipalities to extend their big funding for the bulk services. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Davids. The Honourable Minister to respond.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Chairperson and the whole standing committee, I also want to take the opportunity to thank you for keeping us on our toes as the Department of Human Settlements and for always asking the right questions. And also I want to thank you, Chairperson, for your guidance and direction as the Chairperson of the Human Settlements. And I must say that you are one of the few people who understand the complexities of this department. Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time, Mr. Deputy Speaker, responding to each and every issue, but I do want to say to Member Davids that all the areas that you are talking about, your Barcelona, your Gaga, I'm sure you are aware. If you are not aware, then I'll be very surprised. Those areas are part of our catalytic projects now. The airport precinct cover all those areas. So we are busy there. And also, if you look at the upgrading of informal settlement program again that you mentioned, I'm sure you are also aware that all the provinces are expected to report on that particular indicator to the presidency. If you look at that report, the only department that is green is this one. All other departments in other provinces are either amber or red, which is a clear indication that we are doing very well in terms of that particular target. I was dumbfounded, I must say, when you are saying that in the middle of crisis that we are facing in this province, that prioritizing water should not be something that we do. In fact, it's something that we should be doing, all of us as departments. Really, I'm not sure whether you heard yourself when you said that. Now, the invasion, I'm very again surprised that you want to condone land invasion. We are living in a constitutional democracy, ma'am, with laws. No one is allowed to just occupy land without following due processes. Now, if that's the ANC position now, you must tell us that we are condoning lawlessness now in this country. People must just invade land. Again, on social housing, we are doing better. We won the award, as I said. We won the award as the best department in the country on social housing. So the last thing that I want to say is that if you talk about incomplete houses, I mean, I've been saying this here on a number of occasions in this house, that I inherited this mess from your administration, by the way. When I took over this department, there were 42 incomplete projects, not houses, projects. We then classified those projects as block projects. We unblocked them. They affected more than 200 families. We spent more than 200 million unblocking those projects, and we are still dealing with that mess. So what we are doing is the mess that your administration left us with. There hasn't been any block project under this administration. So under the current constraints, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I can safely say that this department, and the indication is there for everyone to see, we have done very, very well. But of course, the demand far outweighs the supply because of the fiscal challenges that we are facing. Thank you very much. I do want to take this opportunity once again and wish everyone a very good festive season. It's been a very long year and a very challenging year. To all the colleagues, our opposition colleagues, my colleagues on this side, I wish you a safe journey, and please come back in one piece, because South Africa and the Western Cape still needs us. Thank you. Yes, I will be. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Order.